Sitting having morning coffee with my wife, we were discussing how the differences between people, the huge differences between people. And I recalled how one time, way back in the 1960s, when we still used pounds, shillings and pence rather than dollars and cents, and when a pound was worth a lot of money, £5 was in fact a day's pay. And I recall at this time I caught a taxi out to my place of work because at that time I didn't have a car and I needed to get there in a hurry. When we arrived, I gave the taxi driver a £5 note. And then I made a mistake. In my navette, I got out of the car, slammed the door and reached in to have the taxi driver hand me my change, which would have been about £4.50. Would have cost only about 5 bob or 5 shillings to get to my destination. He saw his opportunity, didn't look me in the eye at all, put the car in gear and sped away, taking virtually a day's pay with him, my pay. That was one example. The other example we discussed was how my wife had once left her purse on the counter of a shop. And when we got home, she was devastated because she looked in the handbag and, oh, where's my purse? Where's all the money? Where's my fortnight's pay gone? Well, I berated her, of course, but not half an hour later, there was a tap on the front door. We opened the door and a man stood there. He said, I think you might have lost this. And he handed my wife her purse. All the money was still in it and there'd been some way he could trace our address. He'd gone out of his way. He'd caught a bus, arrived at our place and returned the money. What difference between these two men? One was an opportunistic thief and off he went. The other person went out of his way to bring the money he'd found to somebody who had lost it. You wonder, when these people look at themselves having a shave and they look themselves in the eye, what do they think of themselves? Obviously, I'd say the man who returned the money would rest easy in himself, knowing that he's a good man, deep down an honest person. The other person, would he really look deeply at himself? Or would he be evasive, knowing the scoundrel he is? Now, you might think these one-offs don't count much, but over a lifetime they count a hell of a lot. When we start off young and we harden our heart, that's the term, the biblical term, I think, harden their heart, by doing something dishonest, not gravely dishonest, just slightly dishonest. And as the time goes by, it gets easier to do it. And the moments of dishonesty can become bigger and greater. And this becomes the character of the person. The other person, of course, generous. Generous, outgoing, a real nice person because of the little things they did initially. And those initial things grow to be bigger things. And as time grows on, you get this huge difference between the scoundrel and the really nice person. And it all depends on not just one act, but all of those hundreds of little acts taken over a lifetime. And at the end of our life, when we look back, what do we see? How do we see ourselves? Do we really respect ourselves, or is it something else again?